Time's running out to prepare for Winter Storm Gianna. Some spots could see up to a foot of snow. That's more than their seasonal averages.
And with this storm producing hurricane-force winds, it could produce dangerous conditions near the coast with all kinds of hazards that we're typically accustomed to seeing with offshore tropical systems.
Yeah, and the intense cold is fueling it all with record-setting temperatures freezing more than 200 million from the Great Lakes to the Gulf Coast.
Thank you for trusting the Weather Channel to get you prepared for what's ahead. I'm Jen Carfagno along with Lynette Charles and Dr. Greg Postel. Greg, this system is very dynamic. It's actually not formed yet, but we're watching it come together, and it's going to be quite impactful here with the wind and the snow.
It's going to explode on the weather maps tomorrow, late morning, early afternoon. The satellite pictures are going to be fun to watch, but it will also bring dangerous weather up the coast.
And there's a lot more places now looking at snow in the southeast here. People are waking up, seeing the alerts on their phones. So let's talk through that.
Exactly. Let's take a look at some of those alerts right now.
Yeah, and folks all over the southeast, Reynolds, are looking for that kind of weekend ahead here. I want to talk more details about the timing. Well, I'll get through Charlotte first, then we'll get to some other cities in terms of when the snow is going to be moving in and that amount of accumulation, which matters so much. Now, Charlotte, okay, here you saw obviously the Reynolds shot right now. It's not here yet. It'll be later tonight into tomorrow that we start to see the snow come in. You see that overnight. Now, tomorrow morning, this is 7 a.m., the chance for snow picking up across the area. And this will be all snow. I know with so many of our winter events in Charlotte, there's a worry about freezing rain or maybe sleet. In this case, it will be snow that will be coming down. The atmosphere will be cold at all levels, falling throughout the day Saturday, wrapping up late Sunday night. By Sunday morning, it's finished, but it's cold, so everything is snow covered. You've got your driveway to shovel. Your neighborhood streets probably aren't cleared yet. We have on the order of 4, 5, 6 inches of snow, maybe even 7 inches of snow in the area. So this is a pretty decent snowfall. This is going to be keeping you home on Saturday, obviously, but it might keep you home on Sunday as well as those streets try to get clear. Temperatures are everything, and if they're below freezing, it's going to make it challenging. Now, let's go to the Atlanta area. There's a chance for snow here as well. You can see across northern Georgia, it's really eastern and northeastern Georgia that has the better chance and the higher chance of snow when it comes to amount. So we've got 3 or 4 inches of snow in spots like Athens, Lawrenceville, maybe 2 or 3, Gainesville, same kind of thing. Now in Atlanta itself, maybe only an inch. And you see how you're kind of on the back edge of this accumulation. So yes, there is a chance that you just get a little bit of snow. There's also a chance you get none, just depending on where that back edge of the precip sets up. So I just want to put that out there. And it could be pretty light if you're traveling I-20, for example, west of there. But still, snow is snow. And even a light dusting will cause travel problems. Temperatures will be cold on Saturday. And certainly here where we've got a couple of inches of snow, very impactful travel. This is throughout the day Saturday. Saturday afternoon, it's wrapping up here into the evening here and finishing up through the late night hours Saturday night into Sunday. But again, cold temperatures here really dropping through the nighttime. So the snow will be problematic where it's not clear. Let's take a look at Asheville. Another story here is not just going to be the fact that we've got snow coming in, but we've got a lot of wind that we'll be picking up after the storm. The snow comes down, winds are 15, 20 miles per hour. That's, maybe par for the course for us here in the mountains of North Carolina. Saturday morning, though, snow is flying around and winds actually pick up as the snow is starting to diminish. So we've got wind forecasts of 30 to 35 miles per hour, possibly even higher in some of the ridge tops here Saturday afternoon and evening. That could create some issues, blowing snow. It'll be a dry, fluffy snow. And that'll make travel difficult if that wind is blowing around that snow, reducing visibility even after the snow stops. Asheville, we've, similar to Charlotte, have about anywhere from 3 to 5 or maybe 6 inches of snow, depending on where you are in the mountains here of Tennessee. But so this is a plowable snowfall. This is the snow you're going to have to shovel. In Asheville, I want to time it out for you. We start with some light snow chances beginning late night tonight into early tomorrow morning here. And then throughout the day on Saturday, we're not expecting big snowfall rates, but a steady snow throughout the day on Saturday. And you'll notice those winds gusty, in fact, even gustier with the winds after the snow ends on Saturday afternoon and evening. Lynette.
All right, let's go up the coast, the eastern seaboard. In fact,
Gianna. Yeah, it is a big deal when these southern cities get some snowfall. Charlotte, 2014 was our last big snowstorm. And let's see. I mean, could it parallel that? We have the chance of it, I will say that. Now, when snow comes in, and this event will be all snow. There's not a chance of sleet mixing in that would change the snowfall totals. There's not a chance of freezing rain, which is always a big headache as well. It is snow that is coming in. And what could change the amount of snow we get is how fast everything is moving. What is the ratio of liquid to snowflakes? That's always a factor in snowfall amounts too. But throughout the day on Saturday, you've got snow falling. So you're not going anywhere. We've got snow coming down. And Sunday, if we're getting 5 or 6 inches of snowfall, you're probably not going anywhere either, because this is going to be a plowable snow that not just the interstate's got to get clear, but your neighborhood streets. And with temperatures as cold as they are, it's going to take some effort to get that done. Let's go up to Asheville. And Asheville has 2 stories. The snow, of course, is one big one. The other one is the wind that is really going to be picking up here in the mountains of North Carolina and East Tennessee as well. I expect some gusty winds. Snow, though, moving over the mountains as we get into early Saturday morning. You wake up to snowfall happening across the area from Asheville down through Greenville. Winds are gusty, 20 to 25 miles per hour throughout the duration of the snow falling, which continues through the late afternoon hours. That moves out, and then the winds actually really pick up overnight Saturday into Sunday. We could see winds here, Hendersonville, 40 to 50 mile per hour winds that could blow around that snow, which should be pretty light and fluffy. Now, Asheville, the totals adding up 4, 5, 6 inches of snow, certainly more as you go back up into the mountains, and there we could get more than a half foot of snow. But in Asheville itself, it's probably going to be falling as a light, steady snow throughout much of the day on Saturday, wrapping up into the afternoon, and then into the evening. Snow stops, but wind is blowing around that snow, and just brutally cold too, by the way. The wind chill is going to be tough to take to be outside doing any shoveling at this point. All right, Raleigh, let's talk about your forecast with snow coming down on Saturday. Temperatures in the 20s. We're not anywhere close to the freezing mark until we get to Sunday, but even then, just barely above. So snow comes down throughout the day on Saturday. Raleigh, your Friday night's fine. It's actually taking most of the day Saturday to get the moisture in. And you see how there's 2 pieces, and we've got our system coming in through the southeast that matches up with what's happening over the ocean, and both combine. And by the time we get to Saturday, late afternoon, here we go. Now we're in it. The snow is coming down, probably likely very heavy at times here in eastern North Carolina. The coastal low is really taking shape at this point. The winds are really starting to get gusty as well. We're still seeing some snowflakes around Raleigh, but wrapping up pretty quickly after that. Once we get into Sunday morning, the snow has moved away. The wind will still be with us. The biggest snowfall totals here will be in eastern North Carolina out to the Outer Banks. This is where we've got 6 or 7 inches of snow in the forecast. Raleigh, it's about 2 or 3 inches of snow coming your way right now based on the forecast. Looking back at Georgia as well. So here you can see across the state there are some differences. In eastern Georgia, northeastern Georgia, 2 or 3 inches of snow. There is a chance for snow in the Atlanta metro. That chance for 1 or 2 actually is kind of nudged in a little bit more now down on the eastern side of the metro area. But even a half inch of snow would cause challenges for driving, especially with temperatures in the 20s, which is what we have in the Atlanta area on Saturday, then drops to the teens overnight after the snow ends here. So tough travel across the south this weekend, Lynette.
Yeah, definitely need to stay put if you can. Up the eastern seaboard.
Weather comes our way late Saturday night into Sunday up there. We start the clock, though, looking at Saturday's forecast here across the Carolinas, where as our low pressure really takes shape, it's going to throw it all here at the coast, especially the wind, the waves, and, well, also the snowfall. But along with the wind and waves, some coastal flooding concerns here are going to be with us from the Outer Banks up through at least the mouth of the Chesapeake to the Atlantic, along the shores, actually, of Jersey and even Long Island, and then into the Cape, where we are really going to get some of the worst of the wind and the waves up there. Here into the Chesapeake area, watch for those winds to start to pick up on Saturday. And throughout the day, they will be increasing. First, we've got a north wind, and you see that. The wind direction does matter. So when you have the wind coming in from the north, that's going to be an onshore wind down here, like around Norfolk and the waters nearby. Virginia Beach, that's a north wind, and any of the stretches of coastline that face just a little bit to the north will really take this more sort of full-on force, which will increase some coastal flooding concerns and erosion concerns. And then as we get through Sunday, and the low by this point is moving up there, you see how the wind changes a little more direction, a little more northwest, which again changes where exactly some of the biggest impacts will be felt. Still windy, though, regardless, and winds are going to be 30, 35, 40 miles per hour still on Sunday, even as that storm continues to exit out there across the Atlantic. But it doesn't really calm down until we get into mid to late day Monday. Coastal flood watches are up because of that. We see that in the Outer Banks here leading up into the Chesapeake, Virginia Beach as well. Coastal flood watch, also coastal flood watches in eastern Massachusetts, around the Cape, the islands of Massachusetts too, Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. The winds and the wind direction will be one part of it, but there'll also just be a lot of wave action with a big low pressure out here generating some big waves. So that will give us that risk for some coastal flood concerns. We also have winter storm watches up here in the Cape. We'll get just we're scraped on by this low pressure, which will be way out here, but it'll be close enough to give us a little bit of snow here. Won't be a lot, though. Most of that will be out over the waters of the Atlantic. It's about 1 or 2 inches of snow out on the Cape. You can see Boston itself probably not going to get much, maybe south side of town, an inch or so of snow. And at this point, Providence really doesn't look like you'll get much out of this. The low pressure is just going to be too far away to extend its precip shield to you. It will be windy for everyone, including in Providence. Get ready for those winds to be gusty on Sunday. It's also going to be cold, Lynette.
It sure is. Check this out. Digging out with the...
Every February 2nd, one legendary groundhog becomes the most powerful prognosticator in America. But while all eyes are on Punxsutawney Phil, very few people actually get to see the humans that support him. The Weather Channel dives deeper into the inner workings of the Groundhog Club Inner Circle. This town of 4,000 grows by like 4 or 5 times this weekend. It's always a truly very fun event in all kinds of weather. And I'll tell you what, we've got a cold weekend and certainly a cold Groundhog Day coming our way here in Punxsutawney. Temperatures are going to settle into the single digits. 9 is the forecast at just after 7 a.m., which is when Punxsutawney Phil is awoken from his burrow and checks to see if he sees a shadow or not. Now, most of the time he sees a shadow. It's interesting. This is the time of year in western Pennsylvania, which is actually kind of cloudy. So it's somewhat surprising from a climatological perspective, right? But I just feel like the spirit is always sunny in Punxsutawney on Groundhog Day. So somehow Phil sees a shadow most of the time, and that would indicate 6 more weeks of winter. If he sees a shadow, he's spooked. He goes back in his burrow, right? That's how legend has it. If he doesn't see his shadow, then early spring. This year, I can imagine a lot of people are going to be rooting for early spring after the January that we have had, and February is starting off very much on an extremely cold note. It's been a tough stretch out there with these temperatures, but we will see. Only Phil knows. 80% of the time-ish, he sees his shadow. So last year, saw his shadow. The only time actually in the last couple that we had early spring was in 2024. So will this year kind of be the next one? We'll see.